Alrighty. So, hello. It's been a while, but we got some changes. Nerfs. Kuno Nerfs. So I figured it would be a good time to talk about them. I've had the opportunity to play with it a little bit, and I'll be honest, it's not good. Every Kuno that I know has told me that it's not good. So it's not just me, except Frosty. Frosty says it's not as bad as some people say. But he's the only one that I've heard so far. So if you think it's good or bad, I actually really would like to know. So just, give me your reasons, thoughts, or whatever in the comments. Um, Hopefully we can have a civil discussion about it, um, and give some good feedback. But I'll go over them real quick. Tendon Cutter went from costing no stamina, and regenerating stamina to costing 300 stamina and regenerating no stamina. So, and if you use the left click at the end, it still doesn't regenerate stamina for as long as you're in the animation, as you might imagine. Flash Slash went from costing nothing to costing nothing, but it doesn't regenerate stamina either. So if I just burn, there we go, doesn't regenerate. And it doesn't regenerate longer than the super armor lasts, which is really obnoxious. Um, the third thing would be the cooldown of Flash Slash went from 9 seconds to 12 seconds. This is kind of a pointless change because if it doesn't regenerate stamina, we kind of need the SA, and I'll get into that more here in a minute. But yeah, it hurts our grind, it hurts our PvP really bad. Fourth thing is Dance Macabre now costs 200 stamina as opposed to nothing. It was 40 WP before. Um, though that could have been just a tooltip change. I swear it cost a stamina before. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of Awakening though. But Awakening only costs 150. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just do some movements and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So obviously I'm not perfect. I didn't need a Shadow Slash there. I do that to cancel. But you get the point. I did a rotation and some change. One rotation and some change and I'm out of stamina. So obviously the idea would be, okay, you got to adjust your playstyle. You can't constantly move like you used to be able to do and be like, okay, so what can I do? Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to linger SAs, but we don't have any SAs to linger. Clone and Shadow Explosion don't linger. Those are some of our shorter, easier to use SAs. Flash Slash with the increased cooldown um, would be nice, kind of like a oh shit panic button, but since the increase in cooldown, it kind of hurts the ability to do that. And it doesn't regenerate stamina, so it's just you're kind of just halting. Um, so we have Clone, Shadow Explosion, and Smokescreen. Those are like the only SA skills that we have that regenerate stamina. So then it'd be like, okay, so we can't linger anything. What else can we do? S block. Then you run into the problem to anybody who understands the game and understands how Sukuna works will just be like, oh, they're S blocking. Just throw literally anything at their S block to force them into Q block, which will then start burning stamina. Like anything. You don't have to do anything special. You just hit the S block and it forces us into Q block. And if we're in Q block, well, we then have to get out of Q block one way or another. Either usually it'll be by ghost stepping because we'll see someone hit it, and the immediate reaction is to ghost step it. Um, Everyone that I've ever seen ever play Kuno reacts that way, which will cause us to burn stamina more. Um, so basically, right now, you go through your rotation and then you can't play the game anymore. You have to literally sit there and hope nobody attacks you, because if they do, everything you're doing is either not letting you regenerate stamina or doesn't last long enough to let you regenerate a moderate amount of stamina, or will start consuming stamina instead. So, like I said, every Kuno, with the exception of Frosty, who you just saw log in there for a second, um, says that it's not that bad, or that it's really bad. Frosty says it's not that bad. I believe he told me that if they just changed it so Q block no longer consumed stamina and regenerated stamina, we'd be fine. I hard disagree. I don't think that fixes the class at all. Like I don't even think it's close, because a Q block isn't going to save you much in a like a an RBF or a Node War or a Siege. They're everyone everywhere is going to try to get behind you. That's how everyone plays the game. And in Node War Sieges, you're fighting other rats, DKs who don't care about stamina, warriors who don't care about stamina, Sorks, ninjas, Suck and Awakening. They don't care about stamina. Well, okay, Suck does. Suck is the example I was going to use later. But since I'm talking about it now, might as well. Suck Ninja has a lot of stamina costs. I actually tagged a ninja recently, and I was messing around with it at Histria. They have a lot of stamina costs, but they have lingers. They don't have an S block, but they have a lot of lingers to deal with their stamina, which means if they're lingering in an SA, obviously someone can try to grab them or just hit them with a slow or damage or whatever. But that's the trade-off. They get some stamina back, and if you're a good player, you hit them with either a grab or a slow or something. We can't do that. We just can't do that. We don't have any options to do that. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not exactly sure what to do to fix it. I haven't played enough to give a solid opinion of how to fix it. And my current opinion may change with time, but I don't see that changing at all unless we get some changes. It's really bad. Even grinding Histria casually, I was running out of stamina. I had to like focus on not using like tendon cutter so much, which is wild. Especially if I went to go grind at like a Hadoom spot, I usually use tendon cutter to pull mobs because it's very easy to just pass through them and they don't get stiffed. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. My idea now is to just put myself in the mind of a DK player. You know what I'm talking about? Those dudes on Reddit that complain about DK, and then you see them in game and they have like 52 kills, and then you tell them that their class is really, really strong. They're like, no, it's not. We do no damage. We can't move around so much. Like, we're not that fast. And it's like, bro, I've seen Etsu fight. I don't watched him play the game. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, DK is hella fucking strong. And everything that they do is protected, even if it's just forward guard, which I think forward guard is extremely underrated. It's one of the hardest protections to use, but it completely absorbs damage and debuffs in a lot of situations. So, but yeah, we're pretty down bad right now. My initial opinion, which like I said, I wouldn't consider this is like a take this with a grain of salt. I'm still new with these changes. Is that either Flash or Tendon Cutter needs to be reverted. I would prefer Flash simply because this would fix our grind a lot. A lot. But it may be the other way around, might be better because Tendon is a much shorter skill, so you're not regenerating as much stamina. Even though it's a heavy movement skill, and I've always kind of been of the opinion that with some exceptions that your movement skill should cost stamina. And this might be one of those exceptions. Flash Slash is just a much... Okay. Okay. Come on. Really? Flash Slash, if you take the teleports, can be a fairly long skill. Even and if you flash in place, it's a little bit shorter. So, I at this point, I would take either or. Um, you know, maybe even go further and cut Tendon down to like 150 and dance to 150. And just let you regenerate here. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. You, I do think Frosty is right in that our Q block being the only Q block in the game to drain stamina shouldn't do that at all. Period. And that should get fixed. That's something we asked for and never got. Just like we asked for Tragic Blade to be a useful skill or just be removed, we never got that either. some people might be asking for lingers like Shadow Clone or Shadow Explosion, but that might affect our PvP in ways that it could be too strong of a buff. Right now, we only want to fix the stamina issue. I think Kuno, the kit as it is in a really good spot where it's got some strong skills and can be used in really cool, fun ways. Um, but it shouldn't be able to do that 24/7. But doing one rotation shouldn't burn literally all of your stamina. Maybe my opinion's wrong on that. I don't know. But when other classes like DK can just move non-stop as much as a Sutkuno could before these nerfs, like let me tell you, I fought Etsu. He had no trouble keeping up with me. Tracking me, sure, he could. It's hard to track a Kuno, but keeping up with me, DKs could do it, no problem. They might not have the same as quick like same burst as we do, but they can catch up after that, no problem. Warriors, they don't care about stamina. They just fucking pull out the shield and charge and run out the Musa down. But yeah, so it's hard to say, but I'm of the opinion that we should be able to move more than we can currently, or at the very least have the tools to get stamina back, whether that be cutting back on the stamina costs and adding some lingers, or fixing Q block and cutting back on the costs, or just cutting back on the costs and seeing where things stand after that. I don't know. But overall, I do think it's too much. Again, this is still kind of an early impressions sort of thing, but I don't know. I feel like I'm usually a pretty positive person when it comes to like Kuno stuff. For those of you who've seen me like talk to Frosty on his stream or anything, when I saw the changes, he asked me questions about them, and I was like, it looks like it's too much, but we'll see. Well, now I've seen, and it feels really bad. Maybe I'll adjust, maybe I won't. But I doubt my opinion's going to change. I don't see how there's any possible way for us to like recover stamina in a fight against a good player who understands how fucked we really are when it comes to stamina. Like Musas, I can't run Musas down anymore, not even close. Suck Ninjas that's just a losing matchup now, period. Like hands down. They'll just run you out of stamina. It changes a lot of stuff. And just in time for the arenas too. Pretty sad. So like I said, if you have a similar opinion, difference of opinion, I don't care. I want to know. I would like to provide them feedback, even though I don't actually believe that they read any of it, but at least it feels like I'm doing something to try and make a difference. Make Kuno a decent class, put it in a good spot. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Yeah, that's it. Peace.